on. Yeah, baby. Yeah, we had football this weekend. That's a big smile on Coach Jackson's face right there. We had football this weekend, Coach. It's week 0 is our review show. So from the games this weekend, and it wasn't. I wouldn't say it's a spicy weekend of football, but it is football, and football indeed. And Coach, how the heck are you? Did you enjoy the weekend? Did you get a chance to check out some of these games?
Man, I'm fine as frog hair split 4 different ways. I got a chance to check them all out for the most part. Just flipping back and forth. I was happy about the way they were kind of spaced out. I wish I could have found that UNLV Idaho State game, but outside of that, I enjoyed it. I thought week 0 was a good week of football.
Well, you know what? Going into it, we certainly did have some high hopes for some of the football games this weekend, and I think the ones that we thought were going to be good weren't so good. And the ones that we thought weren't going to be so good, they turned out to be great football games. So let's go ahead and get into it, and we'll start with the not so good games, Coach, if you don't mind. It was kind of a stinker over in Oregon. We had Tarleton State, the number 10 team in the country, facing Portland State, and it was a blowout. 42-0 was the final score. You see the lopsided stats there for the Texans. You had Victor Gabalis, 152 yards passing. He just managed the game and actually came out after the third quarter through 2 touchdowns, both two tight ends, interestingly. Running back Trey Page the third, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, 89 yards, a touchdown scamper in the second quarter. And then Tyralls doing Tyralls things, 2 interceptions. You also had linebacker Omar Emmons with an interception for a touchdown and a forced fumble. This was a absolute blowout by the Texans. They're now 2-0 on national TV. This was the hottest temperatures in the history of Portland State football, as 97 degrees, Coach Jackson, was the kickoff temperature, and a crisp 97 degrees kept the fans away. 1,890 people came into attendance, but they got to see a good show from Tarleton. That freshman, Trey Page III, he's a redshirt freshman. He's from Atlanta, Georgia, out of Langston Hughes High School. He was legit, Coach. Tarleton State is going to be a fun team to follow.
Yeah, they're going to be a problem. Now, I will say this for the 1,800 folks that showed up in Portland. They kicked the ball off to Tarleton, and literally, man, whoever that kid was that covered that first kickoff, he laid the absolute wood when he got there. Now, it was downhill from there. But literally, they got to see one good play, but it was a wrap after that. Tarleton is man, they're loaded. They're talented up and down. They look the part, and they play the part.
Tarleton's offense, 301 yards rushing on the ground thanks to that Trey Page the third. By the way, his profile pic, he's already got TP 3 because it's Trey Page the third. His big necklace and I should pull it up and show you, but it's pretty funny in his bio pic. And then the defense, 8 defenders credited with tackles for loss there for Tarleton. Portland State, we don't have a whole lot of positives to take out of this one. Still questions around the quarterback. They're unanswered. Their transfer, Sagapolatele from Hawaii, and sophomore Downing both got playing time, as well as true freshman Tyrese Smith, and none of it worked. None of it worked, Coach. Lots of problems there for Portland State Vikes.
Yeah, about the only thing that I can say is that the kids played hard, and that's literally about it. My offense was pretty much non-existent. Tarleton did have their way on offense and defense, and it looks like it's going to be another tough season for Portland State.
Yeah, I would think that that you have a lot of concerns just around the coaching staff. They've been there a long time, and they just haven't had a winning season. And Zach mentioned that Zach McKinnell, who joined us for the preview show, who was fantastic, by the way. I love that dude. He mentioned that there's some problems there. There's some problems there. They're going to have to address. Portland State has had some good seasons, right? And it's when they changed their logo. It's like all things have gone down. I actually like the old logo. It looked like a Viking kind of running at you, but now it's just a PS on a shield. Do better. Okay, Portland?
Yeah.
Do better.
The PS was some BS.
Yeah, that's a meme out there somewhere someone can take care of. All right, well, the game that kind of shocked us all, it was Idaho State going to UNLV, and they gave them a run. Their coach had a 10-point lead. They outgained UNLV 55 yards to 532 yards, 555 yards rather, to 532 yards. That up-tempo, no-huddle offense kept the running Rebs on their toes. Jordan Cook, 30 for 50. 380 yards through the air, a touchdown. He did have 3 interceptions, and then a 4th interception was thrown by backup quarterback Jordan Sherman in the end zone, in the red zone. I don't know. I tried to look to see exactly what happened there, why this, because Cook looked like he was on that series all the way until they were in the red zone, and then Sherman came in for one play and threw an interception in the end zone. So that wasn't great. And then Jordan Cook, actually, a little razzle-dazzle, caught a touchdown pass from Michael Shiliku, who is their big tight end out there. Running back Dason Brooks, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a 7.3 yards per carry average, so he was getting it done. Wide receiver Ian Duarte, 6 receptions, 106 yards, 1 touchdowns. Idaho defense, Taylor Tuioti. Tuioti, 13 tackles. Ryan Leathers with 12 tackles and 1 tackles for loss. And Mason Young had that big forced fumble, interception, return for it was a touchdown. I think it was just something else. I think it was just a forced fumble. UNLV did have 300 yards rushing on the ground, Coach, 4 rushing touchdowns. They had 2 fourth-quarter interceptions. So you got to wonder, what if they could have just pulled it out. But the final score was 38-31 UNLV. Very happy for Cody Hawkins, that coach there at Idaho State. And you know what? You get your team fired up for week number 0, 1, whatever, your first game of the season. You're playing against Dan Mullen, who's a first-year head coach at UNLV. They lost a ton of stuff, brought a bunch of transfers in. And Idaho State could be smoke and mirrors with some changeover for UNLV. But you know what? National television, they were on every single highlight show saying FCS, this team came to play, and there were some real big highlights thanks to Jordan Cook and Dason Brooks.
Yeah, sure was. That was a fun. That was a fun game to hear about. You know what? They got off to a great start, and just like in most FCS FBS matchups, you figure that it's not going to last too terribly long. But listen, every time Vegas punched them, Idaho State punched back. So then you get to halftime, and you're thinking, well, you know what? At some point in time, depth is going to take over. Well,
Yeah.
you get late in the third quarter, and Idaho State's got the lead, and they're playing, and they're pulling out all the stops. The trick play, the lateral pass, and then the throwback to the
Right.
other quarterback that takes it to the house. They did everything that they could, and I'm like you. I do believe, had they been able to take care of the ball a little bit better, who knows?
And stop the run. You gotta stop the run. They're going to see a lot of that there, in that conference, and so you can't just give up 300 yards per game, throw 3 or 4 interceptions, and think you're going to win these games. So they left something on the table, and UNLV took it, and that's kind of the difference.
Yeah, I agree with that. But you know what? It should give them it should give them the confidence to play with anybody. So
Yeah.
I don't really know what they are or what they are not, but I think we'll find out here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, Idaho State travels to southern Utah. Our friend Delane Fitzgerald there in Cedar City, Utah next week. So that's going to be a tough competition. I meant to mention Tarleton State has Army this week, that Army, and Portland State has BYU. So it gets a little easier for them this week. This game, I debated even putting this thing on the docket. This was the best game of the night. Look at that Mercer Bear. He's pissed. That's the logo they had on their helmet. That's a hell of a lot better than that stupid M with the bear that's like looks like it's been hand drawn on an Etch-a-Sketch. And of course, UC Davis has got the classic logo. Number 7 versus a number 11 in the Cramton Bowl. And Coach made it into the third quarter. Mercer made it a ball game. They were getting their ass kicked the whole freaking night. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they made it a ball game. Yeah. Halftime. And then Storms move in. Montgomery. Yeah. Okay. Storms move in. Can't get it. Can't finish it. They cancel the game. All statistics are voided. UC Davis led 23-17 when the game was canceled. Coach, there has got to be a better way to manage that kind of what? What is happening? What are we doing, guys?
Yeah, I don't, like I told you, I don't understand. If they can finish these Dixie Youth Little League baseball games, surely they can come up with a way to finish a college football game. What I didn't see was two teams absolutely going after it. I guess what I didn't see was Mercer's special team guys, Mercer's skill position guys are pretty good. They look like they're legit. Mercer's defense finally turned it up a little bit and played well. So what I didn't see, I guess, was two really good teams. What I didn't see was Coach Plow is a fantastic play caller.
Yeah,
I guess that was a freshman quarterback that didn't do very much or anything like that, who played a fantastic game up until So I guess my point is, how in the world can you void the stats and everything? Literally, that you're telling me I didn't see what I saw.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I don't care if they put something together where if the weather clears, you bring the field goal kickers out and you have some kind of penalty kick or something. I don't care what you do.
Scissors, all that.
Right. You gotta figure that crap out, man. That is not good. And I looked at the comment, the official statement from the NCAA on this. Tonight's 11th annual FCS kickoff has been declared a no contest due to rain and intermittent lightning that has continued to move through central Alabama. Mercer said on social media, all statistics for tonight's game has been voided. UC Davis posts, Mother Nature wins the day, as tonight's game in Montgomery has been called a no contest. We're gonna reach out to some of the folks from Mercer and UC Davis and maybe get some more thoughts on this, because come on, man.
Yeah.
You wait all year for football and that happens?
Yeah. You know what? Probably the worst part of it, Nathan, is like we was talking about earlier. That's going to be a quality win for one of those programs.
Yes.
Literally, you got two top 15 teams, top 10 teams, whatever, however you want to say it, and that's going to be a quality win. So when it comes to playoff time, I'm sure that win would have helped one of them. As far as seeding or getting into the playoffs or something like that. It's just an absolute shame that we cannot figure out a way to finish that ball game.
Yeah, absolutely correct. All right, we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about MEAC and SWAC. It was North Carolina Central and Southern, and that MEAC SWAC challenge there at Central Park Stadium. It was a 31-14 win for NCCU over Southern. Southern quarterback Jalen Woods did not get the start. They turned to Cameron McCoy, who was not great. But you take a look at the numbers there. NCUU running back Chris Mosley, 178 yards and 1 touchdown. Southern had a running back of their own. It was Trey Holly, who had 116 yards and 1 touchdown. Cameron McCoy also had 108 yards on the ground with a touchdown. He went 9 for 14 with 71 yards passing. And just taking a look at the numbers there, Coach, the rushing, all right, you got a ball game. Passing, Not even 100 yards passing for Southern. They were one-dimensional, and that was problematic. And so they also didn't get any turnovers. NCCU's defensive lineman Thomas Johnson led the Eagles with the tackles, with 7 tackles, 2 for loss. He also had a quarterback hurry, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. It was Horacio Johnson who led for the tackles for Southern, and he had 11 tackles for the Jaguars. Still, look, those uniforms, man, crisp. They are fresh, man. It's UNH. New Hampshire is in the way of NCCU this coming week, and Mississippi Valley State for Southern. What do you think of this ballgame? I know you checked it out, and they didn't show the bands at halftime, which was kind of a disappointment, but just your thoughts on it overall.
Well, the human jukebox did their thing. It was they had for the 2 or 3 minutes that they did show the band, it was fantastic. I wish they'd do a little bit better right there. Southern's got a running back, Trey Holly. I believe he's a transfer from LSU, who he's a man child and he's good. But they couldn't throw the ball. They kept it close for about a half. The disappointing thing, their defense gives up 31 points. It was just it was a game up to halftime, and then after that, things kind of petered out for them. Now, I will say this: I do give kudos to the coach for, if you miss, for whatever disciplinary reasons that he didn't start his quarterback, which I believe was reported he missed the bus or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We had a similar situation to that when I was playing football. We had I won't name the guy's name because he might still be alive, but he missed our bus, and he's one of our better players. And I told our coach, I played for Dave Roberts, who was right crazy, and I told him, I said, Coach, you know what you said if we missed the bus? And he made me stand up in front of the whole team, and he said, Mr. Jackson, let me tell you something. I'll leave your ass if you miss the bus. Somebody go get somebody go get Ogal.
We're waiting.
Right.
Yeah. Depth chart matters.
Right.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, you know what? Don't miss the bus. Okay.
Right.
Don't miss the bus. You can't be doing that. But listen, ABC nationally televised game again. It started to be a good football game. It kind of got a little away from Southern there late, but it's a good win.
Hey.
North Carolina Central's had a good program for the last couple of years, and Southern obviously the favorite there in the West, but too much of the maroon for the fresh unis of Southern. So
Central's got a good team.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, our final game to review this week is the Nicholls and UIW shocker. Incarnate Word came in number 4th team in the country at home, welcoming Nicholls, a Southern Conference opponent. Look at these numbers, Coach. Now, rushing offense, right? Passing offense, not great, but 3 turnovers gained by Nicholls, 1 touchdown. Deuce Hogan, remember that name. I think that young man, he looks extremely poised in the pocket, looks like a leader on the field. 21 for 36, 221 yards, and 1 touchdown. It was turnovers that really hurt and no run game, and Nicholls took advantage of it. UIW quarterback Richard Torres was 23 for 35, 175 yards through the air. He only averaged 5 yards per completion with 3 interceptions. He was also sacked 4 times, so obviously under a lot of pressure there. UIW's rushing, 16 net yards, 0.5 yards per rush, 4 fumbles, 2 of those lost. And then you turn to Nicholls, who just did enough, 66 yards rushing, 221 yards passing, but they didn't turn the ball over. Their defense had 4 sacks, 5 turnovers, 16 yards rushing yards allowed, 188 passing yards allowed. Joe Mason had 9 tackles, 2.5 tackles for a loss with 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and a quarterback hurry. And Ty Marsh had a pick 6. So it was a good game, and here is the head coach, Tommy Rybacki, talking about this win.
So proud of everybody and their hard work that went into this win. I mean, it truly is the culmination of 8 months of preparing and for this big game, almost exclusively for this game in the early season. And I couldn't be more proud of the coaches on our staff, the players on our team, and it's incredible to see what they do every day. So it's no real surprise to see how they played today, and I think everyone can be proud of that.
He also had some comments about the defense, his defensive coordinator, and how this defense performed. Let's check it out.
Yeah, incredible effort, and Darian Monroe, our defensive coordinator, and the defensive staff put together a great defensive plan, and they executed well. I thought Coach called a great game on defense, and our players just played, so well. And then I also think the thing that goes into that is it's complementary football. The offense was able to possess the ball, move the ball, and all of that plays a role in us having a good defensive outing.
Yeah, I think they had a daycare or something in the background. I'm not sure what was going on during that, but that could audio courtesy there of Nicholls athletics coach. Huge win for this Nicholls State team. Another proud program that has kind of been down for a little while, picking up a ranked win, conference win. Doesn't get any better than that for Nicholls. Congratulations to Coach Rybacki and his coaching debut.
Yeah, it sure was. That was a tail whooping too.
Yeah.
It was 20-6, and it really wasn't even that close. The Nicholls State defense was outstanding. You never got the impression that Incarnate Word would score, even when they had the ball. I mean, they get a turnover. They're right there at the 10-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholls just takes it right back the next play. Um, the look, if you had a chance to watch that game on television, Nicholls State has some fabulous facilities. It looks beautiful there in Thibodaux. They got great facilities. They had a great crowd. It was just, and literally they looked the part. They played the part, and they looked the part. We always say that the FCS is better when Nicholls State is good. So that tells me that the FCS is going to be pretty good this year.
Well, you hope so, and they will travel to Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington travels to UIW. Nicholls travels to Troy, so just down the road for them. So not too shabby. Yeah, they did a great job. And now UIW, Coach, where do they go from there? I mean, they had nothing going for them. That was a shocking performance. Hey, credit to the Nicholls defense, but this is a UIW team that had extremely high expectations. Southland, now you every other team that didn't play in week zero's got to be like, now it changes. Now it's the deal. Southeast Louisiana, Tarleton State, some big time opponents there in the Southland got to be licking their chops.
Yeah, I don't mean no harm. They got a lot of talent on that roster. They just didn't get it going today. I don't know that I'd want to be their second or third game when they come in, but I do think that it does point out that when you got as many transfers that come from as many different directions that Incarnate Word has, very talented, big names, and all that good stuff. But you heard the coach from Nicholls State. They've been preparing for 8 months for that game.
Yeah.
Nicholls State, they've been preparing for 8 months. Incarnate Word looked like they'd been preparing for about 3 days. Maybe it takes a little time to get all that talent on the same page, because it definitely was not on the same page Saturday.
No, it was not. And unfortunately, you had, a game that had a lot of people excited about what that game may be. And then it just turns into a blowout. And that I don't think that's great, because then everyone goes, they see the FCS, it's FCS. But you know what? For fans listen, the underdog story, to me, that's what sports is all about. And Nicholls picked up the pieces, and they took up here in week 0, and they did not shy away from this. They went straight at UIW and punched him in the mouth and kept punching till the clock said 0. So congratulations to Coach Rybacki and Nicholls State, the Colonels there for Nicholls. I tell you what, now we got to turn to week number 1. We're going to have another preview show later this week, Coach. But just kind of give me your overall thoughts here before we close out on the week 0. Do you like it? Do you think it needs to change? And just what you thought of some of the overall atmospheres and getting football back.
I like week 0. I think we need to take. I don't think we need to play another game in Montgomery, Alabama on week 0.
It's the Cramton Bowl.
move it up a week or move it back a week or take it someplace else. But I'm tired of getting rain delays and lightning delays at the Cramton Bowl.
No kidding.
But
Brandon and I went there twice with Kennesaw State as a part of the broadcast team, and both times we were there, we had lightning delays. Not kidding. Brandon's texting me. By the way, Brandon couldn't join us. Again, he's on baby duty, and we're going to give him some grace and mercy. He is a big part of this show, and we're going to continue to make adjustments to get him on. But live calls sometimes, and that's just the way it is. So, but Crampton Bowl, Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah, not this time of year. Let's move on and get that game someplace else where where we can finish a ball game.
Now, where there's a roof.
Yeah. Hey, I like I like the potential of 2 top-ranked FCS teams playing in week 0. I didn't like how the game, was a blowout right off. I wish it was a better game, but I like that. I would. Yeah. I hope we stay with the week 0 ball games, and I hope we find some good matchups. I like the fact that UC Davis comes all the way across the country to play Mercer.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Too.
I like that. I wish that maybe one of the Dakota teams comes all the way, and plays, maybe get some East-West type games going or something like that. I think that's well and good for week 0, and then after week 1, you start getting into your conference schedule.
Well, I do believe that they've announced that you're going to start seeing some of these kickoff games include North Dakota, South Dakota, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and all that good stuff. So, it's going to be interesting. And I also like the conference matchup. Week 1, conference opponent, man, that brings a lot of, listen, conference time, everyone knows. It's just different. Conference time is just different. So it's always fun. And I'll tell you, my thoughts, I like week 0 too. Number one, FCS teams can get highlighted. We had 3 nationally televised games. HBCU game, the MEAC SWAC Challenge, he ain't SWAC, got highlighted. And, they didn't disappoint. People just want to hear the crack of the pads, after this long layoff and see these players start to develop and come to. And, I do like it. And, I do believe they're going to continue to bring opponents in. And especially as this the Chick-fil-A kickoff, which is next week, has those big games here in Atlanta. Let FCS have that week 0 and really highlight the great teams here in the FCS. All right, Coach.
And the attendance was good.
The attendance was excellent. It was excellent. And I can guarantee people looking for that UNLV game were disappointed that it wasn't on the Mountain West. You got to get a subscription, baby. Oh, God. All right, Coach, that is the FCS check down. Great stuff. You miss you, Brandon. Hope you tune in. We're going to, the schedule's a little bit tricky right now, but we'll find out when we're going to do our preview show, whether it's Wednesday or Friday or whatever. I'm not real sure what it is, but we will figure it out and we will let you know. I got to do the obligatory. Please like and subscribe. You guys have been awesome so far seeing us on YouTube and Spotify. That is the 2 locations you can find this video. Like and subscribe. We get 500 subscribers. We are able to monetize, and then we're going to really start amping it up and doing some giveaways and doing some stuff fun for the listeners, because right now obviously we don't get paid to do this. We all have our own lives to do it, but we love FCS football and we think it needs to be highlighted in a good platform. Spotify also, check us out there. Give us a review. 5 stars would be nice. 4 stars, not as great. 1 star, not so great, but probably 1 star, bring Brandon back. That's what we'll get. All right, Coach, any final words?
Man, you know what? Football is finally here. Football is finally here. So it's the most wonderful time of the year. Let's go.
It is that. All right, for Coach Ron Jackson, I'm Nathan McCreary. This is the FCS Checkdown. We'll see you next for week 1. Come on.